With just a few weeks left for the Delhi elections, the New Delhi constituency has become a high-profile tri-cornered contest between the former Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal from the Aam Aadmi Party, the former Congress MP, Mr. Sandeep Dikshit from the Congress Party, and BJP's Parvesh Verma. But interestingly, the Congress Party is relying on the work done by the late former Chief Minister, Ms. Sheila Dikshit, during her tenure as the Chief Minister for 15 long years. Now, the facelift that Delhi got during Sheila Dikshit's tenure, when it comes to infrastructure, education, environmental cover, all that is exactly what Ms. Sheila Dikshit is remembered and revered as the Chief Minister of Delhi. And that is exactly the legacy that her son now, Sandeep Dikshit, is trying to take it forward to give Delhiites the Delhi that Sheila Dikshit had envisioned. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thanks, Samia.
Dikshit. Of course, you've hit the ground running. It's been hectic days for you. You're holding Jan Sampark to door-to-door campaign. When you meet people, how do people remember Sheila Dikshit?
Look, there are two kinds. There are some who don't have much of a memory, or for whom she is an alien name. So that's okay. Some people maybe they haven't had that experience, or they came in late, or they don't relate to politics that way, or maybe some youngsters. But there is almost an overwhelming number, which is about 60–70% people, whose when you speak to them, or if they just suddenly come to know that I'm so and so's son. I mean, there is a way they react to me, or when I go there, they know me. They react to me first as a candidate, and then suddenly there is a flip, and the eyes open up, and they start talking about the Sheila ji. It's almost like for everybody a personal memory, and I think it's quite remarkable. I don't know whether any other chief minister 10 years after their reign is being remembered so much. It's almost like a stuck record, and they say things, and there are two things by which people are remembering her. One is how they did Delhi, so something or the other they like, and second is they have a story about her. I don't know about other constituencies, but at least in New Delhi, it's either she got somebody's admission, or she met them somewhere, or they've been to her house, or she served them tea, or there's some hospital thing that she did, or it's a job that she assured, or it's a word that she did, or it's an assurance that they gave. Of course, there are also some people who said that there were promises they were unhappy that she didn't fulfill. That's about 5%, 4% people also there. I'm just saying that to be fair. But about 60–70% people, it's just remarkable how an MLA could have touched so many lives directly. But here it's quite something. I was quite astonished. I mean, I know that there is, Delhi is kind of thinking of her. We've all been talking about that. Everybody talks about the Delhi that she had built, which they somehow feel that, alas, it's not there anymore. But this was quite an experience, huh?
But that is how the people remember. I want to ask you, how does the son remember? Do you miss her? Do you feel that if she would have been around?
Yeah, I do. My family also does. For example, I know Latika, my sister, misses her a lot. Mona, quite a few times, has told me that, after she's gone, there are times that when she really misses her. But, my daughter, for example, my daughter was never looked at her as a political person. She always looked at her as a grandmother. And, so Latika's daughter also. But I know more of what Yamini, my daughter, said. But I think she is also suddenly discovering the politician Dadi that she knew, So I remember her, I think now with a lot of pride, okay. As all 3–4 of us said when she passed away. In fact, that very evening when we were home, and some people were expressing condolences and genuine condolences, that we need to celebrate. A passing away is a sad moment, but I think it's a moment to celebrate. I think she's lived a glorious life. Few people are remembered so well after their death, with so much happiness. So I think she lived a glorious life. You can always say that, were times really fair to her when they made her lose in that fashion? Perhaps not, but then that's what politics is all about, That rancor, that sadness apart, it was a glorious 81 years that she lived. And she's lived on. Yeah. She lived on.
A few days ago, we lost Dr. Manmohan Singh. And he said that history is going to be kinder to him. Do you already see history being kinder to Sheila Dikshit?
I think not only history, the present is also very kind to her. Just to give one example, one day somebody asked a very senior leader of the Congress, I think Pawan or somebody, as to why shouldn't there be a memorial to Sheila ji, and that's when something I had also said, and he had also said, and others said, that where will you build a memorial to her? Every street is a memorial to Sheila Dikshit. Everywhere you go, it's either a school she built, or some road she created, or a bridge that was put up, or a water treatment plant that had come up, or some unauthorized colony that had nothing before was rebuilt. There was a university somewhere. So what do you build a tribute to? Funnily, you see Delhi is really a city of memorials. All the old Maharajas, all the Sultans, all the current big names, all the freedom fighters, all of them have streets and colonies are named after all of them. She's perhaps one leader who's done the biggest in building modern Delhi. There isn't even a auto rickshaw in her name. I don't think there's anything named after Sheila Dikshit in this city. And yet every part of this Delhi, in some sense, brings out a memory of her. Yeah. You look at a bus, you look at a metro, you look at an airport, you look at at these tunnels that are going.
Something to be named after her?
I mean, look, there's obviously you always want something to be named after a person, and I think in a longer term memory there should be. But again, as I said, what is it that you want to build? Somebody just one day told me that the only thing that's a fitting memorial to her is to build a metro after her, because it's in every part of Delhi. But then, as somebody said, she would hate that. So I think the memory of Sheila Dikshit is the greatest memorial to her.
Tell me, how was she as a mother to you? I mean, was she strict?
Yeah,
or were you
strict.
Friendlier with her?
No, we were of course friendly. She never imposed anything. Okay, but there was some very, very standard, your behavior, conduct. Yeah. Use of language. Okay, wear decent, honorable clothes. You cannot use language which is not good. Your behavior with elders. Anybody coming in, you have to stand up, say namaste. There's basic things, and that was not only beaten into us since we were kids. So that was there. She was also, I know she and my father-in-law were very fun-loving. We used to go out to parties, go out dancing a lot, saw a lot of movies. That time movies was the big thing. We went out for holidays. Like any normal fun-loving people, right? She really enjoyed classical music. She loved Bollywood. She was also very fond of Western.
Now, she had a lot of friends in the industry.
Yes, she did. Okay. She had a lot of friends in the cultural universe, a lot of writers, poets, singers, dancers and all. And she had this very childish thing for them. I remember, Mummy, I think Mona was there, Latika, I don't know who else. We were in the lobby of, gone to meet somebody, Taj Mansingh Hotel, and right across the lobby, Shashi Kapoor was there. And Shashi Kapoor is quite dazzling looking. And she looked at him with the thrill of a girl. I mean, she must have been 65, 70, or maybe she was a chief minister then. She actually got thrilled like a girl. I remember once this fellow came to meet her for some film. It was Ritik came home. Obviously, my niece and all were very excited. The whole household had collected. But she was talking to her like an awestruck girl. So even at that age, she had the feelings and the affection and used to look at entertainment, at celebrities like a little child.
In her third term onwards is where we saw the advent of this entire movement, after which we saw Kejriwal coming forward, in a sense challenging Sheila Dikshit and levelling allegations, many of which has still not been found true. How was Ms. Dikshit's reaction to how Kejriwal was propped up, how he came around? How was she when she, in terms of defeat, when she was defeated by him?
To their attitude
what do you remember?
And the way they misbehaved, she's quite disgusting. And in her there was a feeling that, what the hell, because she knew that what she had done was right. And I mean, as you said, everything that was thrown at her, absolutely nothing has come out of it. Inquiries were held, nothing came out. Kejriwal has been sitting on those files for 10 years. I'm sure if he had got even a sniff of something, he would have made a song and dance of it. I don't think she was worried about the defeat. She was only thinking that, look, I had actually worked. Congress doesn't deserve this. And to go out against a slew of misinformation, complete lies, a media that didn't understand what was happening, she found that to be something she was at a loss. and she didn't know how to counter that, because she was not one of those combative persons who will come out on the street, make a big dance, start crying, make 50,000 allegations, poor me, and do that kind of. They were not people who did emotional dramas or emotional blackmails.
She was a fighter.
She was a fighter, but she was a fighter as a proud person.
Co-presented by New Kia Ceros. Bookings open.
Co-powered by Amazing Spaces के लिए Green Lamb Laminates. कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा.
Rural India, the heart of our nation, is brimming with untapped potential. Fueled by growth and supported by government initiatives, it's driving India's economic progress. Introducing ICICI Prudential Rural Opportunities Fund, your gateway to long-term wealth creation by investing in companies benefiting from the rural economy. Invest today. NFO closes 23rd Jan. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
There were several schemes that she brought about. Many of them were even remembered successfully. The Green Action Plan, or for that matter, the Ladli Yojana that she started back in the day. The manner in which she brought about a green revolution of sorts, I can say it. As far
apart
as
from many other things.
Many other things. If you were to bring about one of those schemes back over here right now in today's day and age, what would it be and why?
Actually, it's very difficult. But I think her work on pollution first, right? Because infrastructure, public transport, all that is part of that. But I think she took to working on Delhi's environment long before environment became an issue. I mean, there was a problem in Delhi. We used to remember that in Delhi, anybody would tell you that if you drove at night your collar would be dark, right? So there was a carbon or a different kind, and she implemented the carbon, the change to CNG. There's a very interesting story. The Supreme Court was on the neck of Delhi government. Okay, Delhi government was not able to do that, and she had decided that this has to be done. It was a very, very expensive political step. Tell these same auto walas who later on, called her a real crook, the taxi people, the bus people, to change. It was not easy. Okay, and I think she actually, what happened in a hearing when the chief secretary was almost to be called as a contempt on court. She went to court, that. She went to the Supreme Court and sat there. I don't think anybody even remembers. Kejriwal would have made a song and dance and cried and said, nobody makes me work. She went there, sat there, and then of course the judge actually addressed her, and she almost sent a message that, look, I've come here to assure the court, I'll get it done. And a lot of things changed.
I had interviewed her from Times Network earlier about pollution. And it was a subject that she really felt strongly for as far as the green cover that she worked towards for Delhi. Now when we talk about, I can give an example of the tree felling at the ridge. The blame game that gets shifted in the process between the LG, the centre, the Supreme Court and the state government trying to absolve itself by saying that we are a union territory. But what was it about Sheila Dikshit that she managed to maneuver this very, very difficult matrix between the centre, the state and the LG? It wasn't the Congress government throughout 15 years in her tenure, yet she ensured that the development of Delhi is always prioritized, irrespective.
Because she wanted to get things done, that was her priority. Politics was not her priority. See, for many of the others, unfortunately, if you find that you are not able to do something, pray politics everywhere. Okay, and blame game is the easiest. And in a David Goliath story, it's always the little person who can, sell it for a very, very long time. And Kejriwal has been able to sell it on every failure of his. Okay, that's between him and Delhi. If Delhi people think that a useless, non-performing CM who cries is their right choice, right choice, baby, that's okay, that's their choice. Electorate can elect who they want. But I think in her case, for example, cleaning the environment, there may have been a push There may have been a problem with the center or the Supreme Court. She wanted to clean the environment. If there was an issue with regard to getting good buses and getting good infrastructure on, she wanted to do it. Perhaps sometimes perhaps even keener than any of the others. So for her, it was managing the situation between people with different concerns and different political pulls, but going in a direction where Delhi would become better. Is that there was a very big meeting with Atalji, right? Okay, and apparently government of India was not, for want of any other word, say behaving well with Delhi government, or so Delhi government felt, right? It was coming to near the elections. Obviously, there must have been pressure on Atal Bihari ji also. Apparently, she met Advani ji. She had a very good working relationship with him. But some things even he was not perhaps particularly happy doing, or whatever may have been the circumstances. So there was a huge table in PM house or PM office. Atal ji was sitting there, Sheila ji was there. Government officers of Delhi government on one side and DDA and union government on the other side. And apparently things became pretty heated. Okay. Even Atal ji was not very happy with Delhi government and their demands, and it looked at the end of it that everything's broken. Okay. So the officers on both sides got up that things are over, and then she smiles at Atal ji and says, Atal ji, chai kyun nahi pilayenge? Chai to pilaiye. And then he said, हाँ, ठीक है, बैठो, chai piyo. And then suddenly, things from being heated go down to drinking tea, and these people say finally she got all the 5 things done.
She always had an open door for the people to come and meet her, address their concerns, etc. Do you feel a change in that culture where the elected is available for the electorate?
Current CM certainly is not. I mean, he's much more of a person who lives in his own place. I'm told his MLAs also can't meet him. And about people meeting him, no. This thing which I get from almost everybody in New Delhi, that they've been to her house. I mean, how can so many people have met her? I mean, koi mela laga rehta tha kya roz? It almost seems like that. And let me tell you, at the end of the house, I don't know whether you went to the CM house or not. She had a room, her TV room, which was about 1/3 of this. None of us could, not even 1/4 of this, none of us could enter it because those MLAs were sitting there all the time. Many of the others who wanted family time with Mrs. Dikshit, they would find it very difficult. I don't think MLAs can walk into Chief Minister's bedrooms like that.
What do you make of this entire ravery culture and freebies that is being announced these days? Because Sheila Dikshit was known for the work that she did. She put forth her 5 years report card before the people, and she got elected exactly on the governance that she presented.
Yes.
Do you feel there is a need to do away with this ravery culture?
Look, it's both. Okay. Some subsidized welfare is important. Mrs. Dikshit also did that, right? There was almost 50-60% subsidy, even more below 200 units. I mean, water was subsidized to almost 90%. Okay. But there was this other thing, like when people said reduce too much, she said no, beyond a while I will not. And we were telling her it could be politically. She said, look, it's not just a matter of saving money, right? I think the habit that you pay at least a little bit for the service you're getting, according to her, made you responsible citizens. And she respected the role of the citizen. And therefore, I think she thought that until you are really something who need far greater help, right? It should be assistance, but not a dependence. Okay, it should be a welfare measure, not a dole. I think
that's a differentiation.
Yeah, she lost on that also. It's not that she didn't lose. Some of her schemes, which people don't know, like you have this Prime Minister's Yojana of giving gas to every house. I don't think people know that or not, but the first place which actually started was her movement of a kerosene-free Delhi. Every household that did not have a gas was given a gas cylinder and by the government. She didn't advertise it. I don't know why they didn't do that. And Delhi was the first state in India where every household has a gas cylinder given by the government. Yeah. So this whatever this Yojana it's called is a kind of thing what to take off from what she did. But for a simple thing, there were free sanitary nap dispensing machines in every school. She realized that girls find it a problem to buy that, especially in early teens. So in Delhi government schools, you could just go there and pick up whatever you wanted. It's a simple thing, but then I think she not only reacted like a mother, she reacted like a girl. Yeah. So I think she took her life experiences into her governance.
I often see you switch between phrases where you're calling her Miss Dikshit and Amma. That's that comes very naturally.
No, as a son, I'm Amma, but my relationship in public platform is that of a MP or a congressman and my chief minister.
So I want to know, how did she take to it when you decided to enter politics? Because your sister decided not to take up the political route, neither did you decide to take up the footsteps of your father. How was her reaction when you decided to enter politics?
I decided to come more into active politics around 2002 and 3. Okay. See, the argument which other people gave is that, look, this is a great opportunity. 7 seats are empty. Don't miss it. Opportunities don't knock twice. Okay. So I kind of got understood that. Initially, when she came to know that, I don't think she was very, very keen. Okay. But I think some of her colleagues persuaded her. She asked me once, and then we kind of agreed. So she never pushed me into it. Never. I don't think before that she had ever asked me. She wanted to know. She would sometimes complain to us that we are not telling her enough, which is the curiosity and the rightful curiosity of any parent. But I don't think she ever pushed. Sometimes she would say, "Yaar, bataya karo, tum log batate nahi ho." But that as a mother. But I don't think she ever pushed us कि क्या करना चाहते हो, क्या नहीं करना चाहते हो, क्या तनख्वाह मिलती है, क्या नहीं मिलती है, what do you want to do, what you don't want to do. I don't think she ever did that. And when I decided to get into politics, she said, okay.
It's often said that half the battle is won if your family stands solidly with you to put forth a united fight. And Sandeep Dikshit has a full house almost at all times.
Mona Dikshit, who is Sandeep Dikshit's wife, thank you so much for speaking to us. I know you don't usually come before the media, but thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now. Take us through, how does it feel when it's the election season and the name easily heard around the corner is that of Sheila Dikshit? How do you look at her legacy?
Yeah, so actually the first point you said about the whole family, close friends who are like family, everyone being together, that's very important actually, because it is like a shadi ka ghar, there are lots of people, each one has a different role. What I would say is there are two things that happen when something, when her name comes. One is, it is very humbling. It makes you feel, okay, I hope that the goodwill that I'm getting, I'm worth it. So I would say it's very humbling. And two, and sometimes you feel, my God, so much you're benefiting from that goodwill, so somehow you need to live up to it.
How do you end up looking at this whole scenario where your dadi, your grandmother's name is spoken about so fondly, and now of course that legacy is being carried forward by your father?
I think when it comes to my grandmother, it was a realization that I had only a couple of months ago, in fact. I remember going to my dance class and passing by this one chalk which was made under her rule, which I didn't know. And then I was just on my way and I looked out of the auto and I saw that it was written, inaugurated by Srimati Sheila Dikshit ji, and I realized that this whole city is, for me, this whole city is a constant reminder of my grandparent. So it's interesting. It's not a life anyone trains you for, but at the same time, this is the only way to be trained for it.
And just like his mother, Sheila Dikshit, who stayed on being a fighter till the very end, we now see Sandeep Dikshit contesting and taking on the juggernauts when it comes to the Delhi politics. And the Delhi electorate is going to exercise their franchise and decide who the next chief minister is going to be in the national capital. But in the meanwhile, we came to know about a different side of Sheila Dikshit through several insights provided by him, the chief minister that Delhi remembers and the mother that perhaps Sandeep Dikshit misses. Thank you so much.